Welcome back to Asean Newsroom for the international news.
Well, the U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton praised Indonesia's success in not only chairing ASEAN to achieve its goals, but also in leading Asia-Pacific toward a peaceful resolution of conflicts during the regional meeting last week. During the week, 10 foreign ministers from ASEAN member states held a series of meetings at the ASEAN Ministerial Meeting, or AMM, with 8 other foreign ministers from dialogue partners in the East Asia Summit grouping of countries, and with 17 other foreign ministers in the ASEAN Regional Forum, the biggest security talks in the region. On a Thai-Cambodian border dispute, Clinton commended Indonesia after bilateral talks with Foreign Minister Martin Natalegawa on Sunday for gaining the trust of both Thailand and Cambodia and working effectively to the point that both countries have asked Indonesia to continue playing such a role even after the chairmanship of ASEAN expires next year. ARF ministers agreed in their statement on Saturday on appropriate engagement of Indonesia as current chair of ASEAN. In this regard, the ministers expressed their support of Indonesia, chair of ASEAN, to continue to undertake consultations with Cambodia and Thailand on the above matter, including on the early assignment of the Indonesian observer team, according to the statement. Given all the developments on resolving the region's thorniest disputes during the last week's series of meetings, Marchi was quick to conclude that the region was safer now than before the meeting. A collaborative and cooperative mindset is certainly the kind of spirit that we are promoting as chair of ASEAN. We are keen to avoid the kind of divisions that might not be the interest of any country, Natalegawa said after the meeting with U.S. Secretary Hillary Clinton.
Efforts to agree on a plan to increase the debt ceiling of the U.S. show little progress on Sunday night despite a weekend of talks. The White House stated that the meeting that U.S. President Barack Obama met 2 lawmakers from his own party, Nancy Pelosi, House Democrat leader, and Harry Reid, Senate Majority Leader. Democrats and Republicans are still at odds to the short-term debt limit increase. Republican Senator Tom Coburn, one of the gang of 6 who outlined their own deficit-cutting plan, said yesterday that the opposition to any short-term deal was ridiculous. Separately, House Speaker John Boehner, who was still working on an agreement of the plan to raise the debt ceiling, said that Republicans were required to make some sacrifices. He said that the plan would be different from the cut, cap and balance legislation that passed the House and was denied in the Senate last week. He plans a 2-stage approach with an immediate increase in the debt ceiling of about $1 trillion and a later amount to be determined by the Commission next year. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid is also working on his own plan, which would increase the debt ceiling by $2.4 trillion targeted until the next presidential election and includes spending cuts that were greater than the debt ceiling increase, excluding tax increases that derailed the Obama-Boehner talks. The lack of an agreement could be stressful for global investors, while Chief Investment Officer Jack Albin claims the chance of a U.S. technical default is at 20%. The U.S. default deadline is on August the 2nd.
The hotel maid who has accused former International Monetary Fund chief of trying to sexually assault her in a New York City hotel room has broken her public silence in an exclusive broadcast interview with the ABC News. Nafissatou Diallo, the New York City hotel maid, has finally broke her silence that she wanted justice and the former IMF chief Dominic Strauss-Kahn in jail. Diallo added that she wanted the Strauss-Kahn to realize that money and power cannot be used in some places and get away with wrongdoing. Her comments were revealed as the former IMF chief may be off the hook for the allegation, as Manhattan District Attorney C. Vance is considering whether to drop the charges amid concerns that he has about Diallo's credibility. Strauss-Kahn's lawyer says she has an ulterior motive in coming forward. Prosecutors have said she lied to them about her life story and what she did in the moments after the encounter. Diallo's name had not been reported by major media outlets in the U.S., which generally protect the identities of people who say they have been sexually assaulted. but her name had been reported by some French outlets. In a preview posted online on Sunday, Diallo told ABC she never wanted to be in the public eye, but had no choice in questions about her credibility. The 32-year-old immigrant from the West African state of Guinea alleges that the former head of the International Monetary Fund sexually assaulted her while she was working at a midtown hotel. Strauss-Kahn, widely seen as a potentially successful presidential candidate before the allegations, was pulled off on a plane and arrested hours later. He has denied the charges.
Well, hundreds of gay couples recite vows in emotion-choked voices for their long-awaited marriage certificates as New York becomes the 6th and largest state to recognize same-sex marriage. New York's adoption of legal same-sex marriage is viewed as a pivotal moment in the national gay rights movement and was expected to galvanize supporters and opponents alike. The state joined Connecticut, Iowa, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Vermont, along with Washington, D.C., when it voted last month to legalize gay marriage. In New York City, Mayor Michael Bloomberg officiated at the wedding of the two high-ranking members of his administration at Gracie Mansion, the mayor's residence. Bloomberg officiated as John Feinblatt, the mayor's chief policy advisor and criminal justice coordinator, exchanged vows with Jonathan Mintz, the Department of Consumer Affairs commissioner. After the exchange of vows, Broadway legend Joe Gray serenaded the couple with song "Married" from the musical Cabaret. The couple ended the ceremony with the Jewish tradition of the groom stamping on a wine glass wrapped in a napkin. However, since there were two grooms, both men stamped on a glass. Following the ceremony, Bloomberg invited the couple and their guests to Gracie Mansions for a reception.
Vietnam's lawmaking National Assembly has appointed Truong Tan Sang as the socialist country's new president. The announcement comes amid challenges at home with the economy and abroad with China over disputed territory in the South China Sea. Sang, who's 62, received more than 97% of the vote as the sole candidate. He had most recently served as the Communist Party's de facto number 2 in charge of running day-to-day affairs. Today's announcement was largely ceremonial since the position was already decided during the Secretive Party Congress in January. Sang nominated Prime Minister Nguyen Thanh Duong for a second term, expected to be announced today. Despite their rivalry, the relationship between Duong and Sang is expected to be cordial, as the Prime Minister focuses on trying to bring stability to a troubled economy. Like Duong, Sang is a native of southern Vietnam, a student militant imprisoned by the then U.S.-backed South Vietnam regime. Sang later became mayor of Ho Chi Minh City. He replaces Nguyen Minh Thiet, who served one term.
And as usual, we have media editors and around Asia by Asia News Network after the break.